My wife abandoned me and our kids for another man. When she came back, it was too late. Part 1. The first thing my wife said after disappearing for 3 years wasn't, "How are the kids?" It wasn't, "Do they still remember me?" It wasn't even, "I'm sorry." The first words that came out of her mouth were, "Can I come back home?" I stood there frozen. My hand was still holding the doorknob. Behind me, I heard my daughter's small voice. "Dad." "Who is that lady?" That question broke something inside me. Because the woman standing on my porch, the woman crying in front of my house, was her mother. But my little girl didn't recognize her anymore. And in that moment, I understood something painful. Some people think losing someone happens when they walk away. But that's not always true. Sometimes, you lose someone slowly. One missed birthday, one forgotten phone call, one empty chair at the dinner table, until one day, they come back as a stranger. My name is James Walker, and this is the story of how my wife left our family behind, and how we learned to live without her. For 14 years, I believed I had the perfect family, not a perfect life. We weren't rich. We didn't live in a huge house. We didn't take expensive vacations every year. I was a mechanic, working long hours, fixing cars that belonged to other people. Amanda worked at a real estate office. We counted every dollar. Sometimes we had to choose between repairing something in the house or saving money for the kids. But honestly, I was happy because every evening we sat together at the same table. Our daughter Sophie would tell us stories about school. Our son Ethan would build strange little inventions from broken toys and old electronics. Amanda would laugh and say, "One day that boy is going to create something amazing." Those moments were everything. I didn't know it then. But those ordinary nights would become the memories I held onto when everything fell apart. The change didn't happen overnight. That's what made it so difficult. There wasn't one huge fight. There wasn't one terrible argument. Amanda just slowly started becoming someone I didn't recognize. It started after she got promoted. At first, I was proud. She deserved it. She worked hard. She came home excited, talking about new opportunities and meeting successful people. I supported her. I told her, "You finally got the chance you've always wanted." But then, the late nights started. Business dinners, weekend conferences, new clothes, new perfume, new friends I had never met. And something else changed. Her phone became more important than us. At dinner, she wasn't looking at our children. She was looking at messages. At night, when she thought I was asleep, I heard her quietly laughing while texting someone. A laugh I hadn't heard from her in years. One evening, I finally asked, "Amanda, are we okay?" She looked at me and smiled. Not an angry smile, a distant smile. "James, why do you always think something is wrong?" "Because I feel like you're somewhere else." She sighed. "I'm just trying to become more than a wife and a mother." Those words hurt, because I never wanted her to feel trapped. I wanted her to dream. I wanted her to succeed. I just never imagined that her dream would require leaving us behind. A few weeks later, something happened that I still remember. I came home early from work. I had stopped at a restaurant and bought Amanda's favorite food. I thought maybe we needed a quiet night together. Maybe we needed to reconnect. But when I opened the front door, the house was silent. Too silent. Sophie? No answer. Ethan? Nothing. Then I heard crying upstairs. I ran. I found Sophie sitting on her bed, holding a piece of paper. Her little hands were shaking. "Dad." She looked at me with tears in her eyes. Mom left. At first, my brain refused to understand. "What do you mean she left?" She didn't answer. She just gave me the paper. A letter. My hands started shaking as I read it. James, I need to find myself. I met someone who makes me feel alive again. Please don't try to stop me. The kids will understand one day. I'm sorry. Amanda. I read it once, then again, then a third time. Not because I didn't understand the words, because I couldn't believe a person could write them. The woman I spent 14 years loving, the mother of my children, had left us with a piece of paper. That night changed everything. Ethan kept asking, "When is Mom coming back?" Sophie asked a question no child should ever have to ask. "Dad, did Mommy leave because she doesn't love us anymore?" I wanted to tell her the truth. I wanted to say, "Your mother made a choice." But children don't deserve to carry adult pain. So I hugged her, and I said the only thing I could. Mommy loves you. Even though my own heart was breaking. The first few weeks after Amanda left were the hardest days of my life. The house felt different. Not empty, just broken. Every morning, Sophie would walk into the kitchen and look toward the front door, like she was waiting for someone who wasn't coming. One morning, she put an extra plate on the table. I looked at it. My heart sank. "Sophie, sweetheart, why did you put that there?" She looked confused. "For Mommy." I didn't know what to say, so I quietly picked up the plate and put it away. The next morning, she did it again. That hurt more than any argument Amanda and I ever had. Because children don't understand abandonment. They only understand love. And when someone they love disappears, they think it must somehow be their fault. Ethan was different. He stopped asking questions. That scared me more. A child who cries is showing pain. A child who becomes silent is hiding it. One night, I found him sitting alone in his room. He was holding an old family picture. I sat beside him. "Buddy, what's wrong?" He looked at the picture. "Dad, did I do something wrong?" My heart broke. "What makes you think that?" "Because Mom left." I pulled him close. "No, Ethan, you didn't do anything wrong." "But why did she leave us?" I didn't have an answer. How do you explain to a child that sometimes adults make choices that hurt the people who love them most? Being a single father was harder than I ever imagined. I had to become two people. The father who worked long hours, and the parent who remembered every little thing. I learned things I never thought I would. How to braid my daughter's hair. How to help with science projects. How to remove stains from school uniforms. How to cook meals that didn't come from a microwave. The first time I tried making pancakes, I burned them so badly, even the smoke alarm complained. Sophie laughed so hard she couldn't stop. "Dad, these are the worst pancakes ever." I smiled. "Thank you." "Why are you thanking me?" "Because you're laughing." And she got quiet. Because we both realized it was the first time we had laughed in a long time. Slowly, we created a new routine. Friday nights became movie nights. Sunday mornings became pancake mornings. Every weekend, we found something small to do together. We couldn't afford expensive vacations, so we went to the park. We rode bicycles, we fed ducks. We bought one big ice cream and shared it. And something unexpected happened. The children stopped talking about what we lost. They started enjoying what we still had. One evening, Sophie hugged me and said, "Dad?" "Yes." "I think we're happy again." I held her tightly. We never stopped being a family. Almost a year after Amanda left, I received a message from an old friend. It was a picture. I almost didn't open it. But when I did, my stomach dropped. It was Amanda, standing beside another man, on a luxury yacht, wearing expensive clothes, looking happier than I had seen her in years. Under the picture was a caption: "Sometimes you have to leave your old life behind to find happiness." I stared at those words for a long time. A part of me wanted to feel angry. A part of me wanted to hate her. But then I looked toward the living room. Sophie was painting. Ethan was building something from old computer parts. They were laughing. And suddenly, I realized something. Every minute I spent watching Amanda's new life was a minute I was stealing from the two people who actually needed me. So I deleted the picture. And for the first time, I stopped waiting for her to come back. Life didn't become perfect overnight, but it became peaceful. I worked harder. Eventually, I was offered a position managing an auto repair business. The responsibility was bigger, but so was the paycheck. For the first time in years, we weren't just surviving. We were building something. We moved into a better house. Not a mansion, not anything fancy. But it was ours. A place where my children felt safe. A place where nobody was planning to leave. Ethan grew into a curious, intelligent kid. He loved taking apart old electronics, broken radios, old computers, anything with wires. One day he showed me a small robot he built. "It doesn't work yet," he said. I smiled. Neither did we at first. He looked confused. "What do you mean?" I looked at him. "Our family had problems, but we kept trying." He smiled, and I realized my son wasn't broken. He was becoming stronger. Sophie discovered painting. At first, she painted simple pictures: flowers, animals, our house. But then she started painting people. One painting caught my attention. It was a picture of 3 people holding hands: me, her, Ethan. I asked, "Where is Mom?" She stayed quiet for a moment. Then she said, "I don't know." That answer hurt, but I understood. Children don't forget. They adapt. 3 years passed. 3 years without Amanda. 3 years of birthdays. 3 years of school events. 3 years of scraped knees, bedtime stories, and ordinary moments. The moments she missed were the moments that built us. Then, one evening, everything changed. I was making dinner when I heard it. 3 slow knocks on the door. Knock, knock, knock. Something about that sound felt familiar. I walked toward the door. I opened it. And standing there was Amanda. But she wasn't the same woman who left. The confidence was gone. The expensive clothes were gone. The smile was gone. She looked tired, broken. She looked at me and whispered, "James." I couldn't move. Then she said the words I never expected to hear. "Can I come back home?" I looked at Amanda standing on my porch. The woman who left us 3 years ago was now asking to come back. "The man I left you for." "He left me," she whispered. "I made the biggest mistake of my life." I believed she was sorry, but being sorry doesn't bring back the years she missed. Then I heard footsteps behind me. Sophie appeared. She looked at Amanda and asked, "Dad, who is that lady?" Amanda's face changed. "It's Mommy, sweetheart." Sophie stared at her. "My mommy?" Then she quietly said, "I thought you didn't want us anymore." Those words broke Amanda. Later, she asked me, "Can we start over?" I looked at my children laughing inside the house. "We already started over," she cried. "Without me?" I nodded. "I forgive you, Amanda. But forgiveness doesn't erase consequences. You didn't lose your family today. You lost us the day you walked away." Amanda eventually understood. You can't return to moments you chose to miss. Birthdays, school events, bedtime stories, the little memories that build a family. Today, my children are happy. And I learned one thing. Love isn't proven by promises. It's proven by presence. Because anyone can say, "I love you." But the people who stay are the ones who truly love you.